And next, I'm going to invite Beth Wachira to the stage. She's going to talk a little bit about translating some of that energy into what is the direct work. What is it that you can do to join results and fund our vision and be part of our vision? You know Beth, if you've read the quotes, you've read her article. She is a results volunteer, originally from a whole different world, and I'm going to just turn it over to Beth and let her speak.
Thank you, Michael. Great to be here tonight, and it's good to see all of you. I grew up in a small village in Kenya, and my father lived apart from us. My mother, my 7 siblings, and I lived on a small piece of land where we practiced subsistence farming, which is just farming for what we ate. And to complete the 9 years of primary education, I walked barefoot 5 miles to school each day, one way and back. And to attend high school, I traveled to the slums of Nairobi, like she just mentioned, and I lived with my brother and my family. Poverty and decay was very rampant in the slums. During that time, I lost my mother to TB, and my father took his own life because he had HIV. Despite these circumstances, I was able to graduate from high school, even though my grades were not great or good enough to go to the few colleges that are in Kenya. I took a secretarial course and found work. But after a few years of a dead-end job, I embarked on a very audacious mission. I was going to move to the U.S. I was moving to Texas. Even though I lacked the financial security, no family stability, and other requirements that were needed for the visa, I was rejected for a visa within the minute I got to the window. I had one chance of appeal. I was sent to Julian Barkley, consul at the U.S. Embassy, to explain why I should be given a visa to attend university in Texas. I was completely surprised. He approved my application. He only gave me one piece of advice. He said, watch out for those boys in Texas. They are fast. Then he added, come back and see me after your school. I was never able to go back and thank him. Mr. Barkley was killed the following year during the U.S. bombing in Tanzania and Nairobi. That's when he was killed with his son. When I heard of his death, I was very sad, and I was pretty much overwhelmed with sadness. Julian Barkley completely changed my life, and he will forever remain my angel. Yet he bestowed upon me an opportunity of a lifetime. I did not waste time. I did not waste it. I came to America, graduated from the University of Houston downtown, and received an MBA from the University of St. Thomas. Now I'm married with 2 children. I'm an independent business consultant running my own business consulting company. While I was at the University of St. Thomas, that's when I met the results volunteers, David and Claudia. They came to our ethics class and they gave a lecture on what they do. When they mentioned the slums of Nairobi and how the result was combating poverty, TB and AIDS, I felt like they were talking directly to me. Everything they said described my background, of which I had been so ashamed of, with a family ravaged with TB, HIV, AIDS, suicide, poverty, too much debt, had shut down, and I internalized it all. Only after that class did I start talking about it, talking about my life. Poverty means that people don't have options. And my story shows that education creates options and opportunities. Results has helped me take my life experiences and channel them to create political change. My sister is now living with HIV. It has been very meaningful to me to be able to advocate for the global fund to fight AIDS, TB, and malaria, so that my sister and million others living with HIV can receive the treatment. I don't want them to die, as my parents did. Results advocacy led me to write a Houston Chronicle article, the ones that you find, about funding for education, about why funding for education matters. I hope my story will convince President Obama and Hillary Clinton to fund for global education. Through results, as individuals, we learn how to make political change. Thank you for listening to my story. I'm standing before you here today because of education. There are almost 70 million children in the world who will never get an opportunity to get the opportunity that I have, like without the work of results and the support of the people in this room. And this time of the evening, I'm standing at this time of the evening where you have an opportunity to financially support results in the work that they're advocating for the poor. I know that some of you have already made very generous donations, and I fondly thank you. However, many like you, many like me tonight, may not have done so yet. And I'm going to ask you to make a very generous donation tonight. And no donation is too small, and no donation is too big. So give a gift that is meaningful to you, so that the 70 million children not in school may be given an opportunity to educate themselves, so that they can go out and make a difference in their lives. That's my story.
It's really an honor to work with Beth, and to usually the people we work with in results we never get to see. And Beth, although you aren't a direct recipient of results, you're the person that we want to see happen. And we know that through our advocacy, this can happen. And so now it is time for you to have an opportunity to join us in this work, in this vision that Marianne so eloquently outlined. On each of your tables, you'll find a manila envelope that looks like this. And I'll ask for someone at each table to just be responsible for opening that. And inside, you'll find some envelopes and a purple little form in each one. If those could just be distributed to everyone at the table, I'll just give a very brief introduction about what these forms mean and how you can make a contribution. As Beth said, we know many of you have already very generously contributed and sponsored our organization, so we thank you for that. And if you haven't had the chance yet, this is the time to do that. So the first thing you'll find is this white envelope, and this is where you can make a financial contribution. It's important to note two key pieces here. The second line under the enclosed amount says, put my contribution to work for, and there's two different categories. The first one is for results, which is our advocacy arm. It's our lobbying arm. It's what we train ourselves to do and go to members of Congress. Because it's advocacy, it's not tax deductible. Still very valuable, but it's not tax deductible. If you need a tax deduction, then Results Educational Fund, the second box, would be the appropriate place. And that allows us to create materials to educate. It allows us to do follow-up reports and those kinds of things. So there's still vital things, but either one of those is important. If you need a tax deduction, then Results Educational Fund is the appropriate place. I think the rest of the form you can see what's going on there, but we also have this purple form, which we hope even if you've already made a financial contribution, you'll consider completing. And this is what Marianne was talking about, is that opportunity to lend your voice. This is an opportunity. There's 3 different levels that you could get more involved. First one is email a periodic newsletter, just get you involved, know what Results is about. Secondly, we would invite you, if you check this one, to our monthly meetings. We have meetings where we have speakers by speaker box all over the 110 communities in the U.S. that are listening in on that, and we get educated by members of Congress, by inspirational speakers like Mary Ann, and always by Joanne. And then this third box is use my email address to sign me up for Results Educational Fund Action Alerts. And this is about once a month, you'll get email that gives you very simple steps that you could do. Say maybe we're having a call-in on Washington. You could just make a simple phone call and request that your member of Congress sign on to a piece of legislation. So that's any of those and all of those. And we're hopeful that as many of you as possible will also want to put some time as well as your financial contribution. So please just take a few moments to complete that. And then our newly conscripted volunteers who handed out the envelopes, if you will just get those, return those to the manila envelope, and that's how we'll conclude our evening. I'd just like to echo Mary Ann's words and kind of have this vision to leave you with. And that's a vision of imagining a world where every person has the education that they desire, where no person is impoverished, where no person who needs medicine is denied it because it's not available. Just imagine what that world would be like. Thank you very much.